Playing right now. You'll see us switch over to me in just a moment. All right, we're back, and not only back, we were here just now, and I'm glad that you're with us. And we've got a special guest to us. We got the Union County Supervisor Phillip Russell here, and if you hear all these clocks, y'all used to them now because that's usually what happens. So we're going to talk a little bit about Union County and a little bit about personal, a little bit on Phillip Russell. Find out a little bit about him. And also a little bit about your county, when some things that's kind of popped up a little bit over that we think that, well, it's the county. No, it's not the county. Or you're not going to be able to call in tonight. Sometimes we have them call in, sometimes we don't. And tonight's one of those nights because there's more information for you to listen, and you can also put your comments in with the on Facebook and leave them there, because we'll be able to come back and look at those and answer them appropriately there also. So we're going to come back here in just a moment, as soon as I do a couple little switches here. And I'm using my iPad, and there we go. And we got to get a commercial in here, and that's why I'm doing this right here. There we go. So y'all have used to this anyway, so this is and we'll be right back right after this message from Keepsake Jeweler.
Your love holds us close and guides us even if we're apart. Most of us, if not all, get a defining moment in life. My moment is when I met you on that beautiful, breezy night. The instant my eyes connected with yours. The shift in my life emerged. You are my everything.
All right, we're back, and you just seen Keepsake Jewelers. Valentine's Day is coming up, and tell you what, you better be thinking about it if you got a girlfriend or wife. And let me take you off my face and put you on to Phillip Russell here. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and we're talking about Union County and talking about a little bit about yourself. Have you been a long resident of Union County, or did you leave and come back, or?
I was born at Wallace Thompson Hospital on January the 2nd, 1964. And for those of y'all are quick with a calculator, that meant I just turned 60. So,
wow.
But yes, grew up in Charleston, and in 1982, after graduating high school, I came back to Union. And this is where I wanted to be. We've stayed here. Of course, I married a young lady from Lockhart, South Carolina, and she's addicted to Broad River water. So, but I've been here. Worked for the City of Union from 1988 to 1997, and left there and went to the South Carolina Fire Academy.
Now, what did you do with the city?
We created their first ever GIS department. We went from CAD drawings to AutoCAD on a computer. So we did all the pre and post engineering for the city. We mapped everything that was put in. We helped the work order system we created actually put in all of the parts that a department would need to go and run a gas line, run an electric line, fix a sewer line, whatever that meant. We could go and do it and create a work order, task it out to the crews. The crews knew exactly what to put in the truck. We kept up with all of that. So it was a really nice learning experience. GIS as a whole, it was in its infancy back then. We're talking 486 computers with math processors. Okay, so we're going way back when dinosaurs had eggs. But and then in '97, I was part of the fire service here in Union County since 1987, and so I had 10 years in the service, and I was offered a job to be a fire academy instructor, and it just led from there. I went from teaching for 3 years to supervision and management. So when I retired in 2017, after 20 full-time years with them, I was actually the superintendent of the South Carolina Fire Academy. That was about a $12.5 million budget, about 400 employees underneath me, and I also assisted the fire marshal in maintaining and keeping up their budget. So we worked with the governor's office on a regular basis, and we were part of the governor's cabinet agency with LLR. So had just a good management experience from that, but I had 30 years in the system and it was time to move on. And so I retired and got a phone call the next year, probably about 9 months out, and said, hey, we'd like for you to become our fire chief. So I went to the city of Clinton. I was the fire chief at Clinton for about 4 years and decided I would leave that to run.
Now was that
supervisor.
was that a volunteer? Was it paid?
That's a municipal paid department.
Oh, okay.
We had a combination of full-time staff, 4 on a shift, and part-time staff. We had 14 full-time and 18 part-time or volunteer staff members, but we paid our volunteers. We ran about 1,200 calls a year. We did both medical and fire, about 50% split between the fire and EMS. We codified everybody in the department to their positions, to their training, and really it was a good time. But my job was to get them started. They were a brand new department coming out of public safety. That was my job to create a benchmark for them. We created all their policies, and I told them when I took the job I wasn't going to be there long. And I left that job in December of 2021 for the sole purpose of running for the supervisor for Union County.
Oh, okay. So their fire department, I guess it was in Clinton, was kind of like one in Union that's got officers there.
They were cross-trained, and what they realized is that it was fighting fire. You just don't.
Okay.
You just don't fight fire, and then your job's done. What we do with the fire department, literally, it's a 24-hour-a-day job. So there's a lot more to it than just fighting the fire. It's the training, the maintenance of equipment, the building inspections and building pre-plans and emergency plans, doing walkthroughs, dry runs, and training with other departments.
So there's a lot involved, and we were whatever the city wanted us to be. We helped at events, we helped with trash pickup, whatever we needed to help with to be a positive for the community.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. That was me kind of switching around there a little bit. And when you cut one off, cut one on, you got to make sure every little sound thing is on there. So, well, that, definitely got you in that position to be able to run. And when someone who brought the idea to you? Was it someone saying, hey, I think you need to run for supervisor, or is it something that you kind of wanted to do?
I just felt like the time was right. I wasn't mad at anybody. I didn't think anything was right or wrong. I had no opinion. I just thought that, this was an opportunity, and I felt like that Union County needed a choice. And so I announced that I was going to run, and you know, I know Frank eventually he announced that he wasn't going to run, and then he moved on the magistrate. And you know, I was proud for Frank, glad for Frank that he was able to move on. But on the other side, I was prepared to run. You know,
right.
It was. And it's hard running for political office. There's a lot of things that you have to think about and plan for, but I was prepared for that, and we got fortunate and we won. You know, I know Ben Ivy, go to church with Ben, really think the world of him, think the world of Frank, have really made a friend out of Miss Tamika. Tamika's been a great supporter after the election was over with. So again, it's not about me. It is really about the job. It's about trying to do all we can for Union County.
Right, and I'm really hope people look at this political election that's coming up, the presidential election and all the others, that they would look at it and not be supportive either, you know, whatever side they're on, and because I know that in the past years it seemed like it's got into a well, if you don't like the person I like, then you're not my friend, and this is just, it's really been crazy, and I'm hoping that this election, especially the presidential election coming up, that people say, okay, this is who and respect what the person, that his opinion thinks is good. It's not saying that he's right or that's wrong, but we got a democracy, we got a election here that needs to be clean. Elections
should be partisan, not personal. It's not a personal thing. It's a partisan thing.
Right.
It's whether you like this candidate or don't like this candidate, shouldn't cause friends. It shouldn't cause people to lose tempers at each other. It is just the process. And what I've always said about elections is, I promise you, the voters will always be right. If they're not right, they'll quickly correct themselves. So you know, it's just the process to go through. The form of government that we have is very unique in Union County. There are only 3 supervisor forms of government existing in the state. One of those is in Berkeley County, where they have a supervisor, but they also have a paid administrator that runs the day-to-day. Williamsburg County, and better known as the Kingstree area, and Union County are the only 2 with a true supervisor form of government. Doesn't bother me. Form of government's a form of government.
Right.
Really, I'm no different than a city manager or a county manager, other than I'm elected for this job. And my job is to run the day-to-day operations of Union County, to supervise and lead its people, to manage its functions, to govern the budget. Now, outside of that, all those decisions, including I present a budget to council. Council goes through. They have the right to pick apart that budget if they so choose, and you know, I respect that right. We have to have their approval. Right. Council has to approve the transfer of property. They have to approve anything that's expended that's not in that budget. We are very fortunate in Union that we have a great council. I have a great council that I work with. The whole crew, we all get along as friends. We all have a right to disagree with each other, but just with the elections, it's not personal. They care about Union and want to make sure that they make the best decision for it. So working together, I just think we make a great team.
Right, and the city council, they got their areas that they're been elected also, so they're elected officials.
The county council, yes, correct.
County council.
County council's elected officials.
And so they got to they're representing their district.
That's correct.
And they're looking to be, because I've seen, you know, where one I'm not going to vote on that, this right here, it's because they got a different opinion on it.
And you know what? That's what makes us strong. It's okay. It's okay if we don't have a unanimous council. I'd love to have that, you know, unanimous as much as we can. But council has to help me do that job, and their opinions are very important. I try to keep it very atypical, non-business, non-personal. It's business, but it's non-personal, because I don't even get a vote unless there's a tie on council. So, and we have to present a lot of things to council, whether I want to or not. It doesn't matter when we put them on the agenda. This is the way the business works. And so what you do is you calculate and gather those things all during the month that you need to have council's decision on. And we try to get that agenda to council as quick as we can, typically by the Thursday before council meeting on a Tuesday, so it gives them time to research. But then what we also do is we put that same agenda package online.
Right.
We have made great strides in being as transparent as we can.
Right.
I just think the more things we put out and the more questions we answer, the better off we are as a county. We're not trying to hide anything. We are a $23 million, without grants, our budget is $23 million. $23,325,000 to be exact. You got to realize that about 18 million of that's payroll. When you begin to look at paying your employees, paying their insurance, we have to pay their retirement benefits. So when you begin to look at, you take 18 million away from 23, you only have about 5 million to 5.5 million to operate on as far as general government operations. It's not a lot of funds. So 23 million sounds like a lot if you say it quick. But in the scope of things, what it is we are still limited in resources, and we have to make very wise decisions with those resources to make sure we get return on investment.
And people realize, as far as they say, well, it's not that many people in Union, but Union County is a big county to,
514 square miles, 20% of that's covered by federal forestry.
Right.
But Union's growing, and what you have to realize is we may lose 8,000 people going out of town to work in the morning, but we're gaining 8,000 or more coming in to handle the jobs that we have in Union. You've got this new housing subdivision that there's 13 houses presently under some form of construction today.
Right.
And I'll tell you, those houses are going to fill up quick. And we've got people that want to have a place to live. I think you're going to see this spur our growth. That one subdivision isn't the answer. We probably need a few more.
But isn't there plans that I've heard through the grapevine? Sometimes you got to, those grapevines get a little wobbly, that they're looking at another subdivision, about 100 homes out in, I forgot where it's at now, here in the county. Like it's 98 acres they're looking at to divide into a subdivision.
Sometimes we don't know all of those plans because those private land owners and developers. We don't have land use planning in Union County, therefore there's not a requirement for them to do pre-request.
Right.
So if they buy that, what we know they're going to have utilities, and so when they reach out for utilities, we're notified. And so we've heard there's a lot of people looking at Union County. The sewer announcement, the sewer that's going to go from Union all the way to the Spartanburg County line, that's piqued a lot of development interest on the 4-lane.
Right.
And so you realize that was an investment that's going to pay dividends for Union County over the years, because that's the missing utility that we haven't had. That's going to spur both residential and economic growth, or industrial growth. That's going to, and again, rooftops bring retail. So you can get industry, you get rooftops, you get the side effect of having commercial business. So we're very fortunate with that, but we were announced $10 million in sewer infrastructure. We were announced by Spartanburg Regional, a $55 million new hospital. We had Department of Highway Federal Transportation offer us $52 million in bridge repairs. All of this is in the last year. We had Myco Works to kick off and open up with 400 employees. Well, they have 200 employees now, a little bit more than 200, and they're working towards 400. We have the housing subdivision with more people looking. We have additional commercial looking. We have people that have restaurants and retail stores that are looking in Union right now. We have motels that are looking in Union right now because of a study that we did. We're trying our best to encourage some of the growth. We need some growth in Union County.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of positive things are going on.
Well, we're seeing a lot of that lot of that stuff coming to pass now, like a lot of retail that's come in, a lot of new restaurants and stuff, the national restaurants, and I've been watching the housing building up right behind the Tractor Supply. There's Tractor Supply that came in here, Harbor Freight. So we really got some excitement stirring in Union, and when you got that excitement stirring here, you got other outside industries that's looking and say, hey, well, what's going on here? They're starting doing all these things here. The hospital being built. Another great thing is going to have opportunity for more people to work there. And I think it's KDL is the trucking dispatch. They just rented the building beside Micro Works, or just bought that building there. They're picking up some things there. And so we're seeing a lot of different things that's happening, and it's good, positive things. You're always going to have some negativity, we know that, but the way it is right now, it's I see everything that's going to be going in the right directions.
Well, and it's Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're not going to change it in a day. But what we have to do is we all have to work together. I call it team union. It's all of us working together. That's what drives us forward. The same thing when I get, and I do my best to return calls every day. I do. And, I get plenty of calls on, hey, there's a pothole out here. Thank you for telling me. Bunch of eyes are better than my set, because I may not be down that road all month,
Well, it's
so,
a big county.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to hold that thought a second, and we'll be right back right after this commercial from Keepsake.
Your love holds us close and guides us even if we're apart. Most of us, if not all, get a defining moment in life. My moment is when I met you on that beautiful, breezy night. The instant my eyes connected with yours. The shift in my life emerged. You are my everything.
All right, we're back, and we're talking about, and people talk a lot about potholes.
They do. They do.
You mentioned that.
And there's a difference between a city street, a county road, and a state road. And now we take complaints on any. It doesn't matter. And if they're not our roads, well, we meet once a week. I send to our highway department a list. I have one of our staff send a list to the highway department. Say, here's the reports of potholes or complaints that we've had. Union County itself owns about 170 miles of roadway. So if you put that in perspective, you can drive from here to Charleston on the amount of county roads that we own and we maintain. We've done a really good job over the past 10 years in keeping up with those. Most of our roads, I'll say 70% of them, have received some type of pavement, whether it was asphalt or whether in some cases we still have a few gravel roads that we've gravelled. I know we've added a few asphalt roads to our list just this past month after the rains washed them away. We got them fixed, but said, you know what, we need to go ahead and just work with our CTC and work with our funds and go ahead and try to pave some roads. Our roads aren't in bad shape, but our roads are not heavily traveled. You begin to take a look at some of the highways that we get majority of the complaints on, 176, Whitmire Highway, Highway 215, the Kelly Road. These are state roadways, and the state knows about the problems. And
well, that's where a lot of people get confused. They get confused. They think, well, this is in our county. Our county's supposed to pave all these roads.
Right.
And they really get confused on it. And even myself, they don't know which, just like the roundabout I was discussing earlier with you about that they're looking at and proposed. And people, if you want to go to this meeting. The signs out there, I posted it when the meeting is. If you've got some concerns and stuff, show up to the meeting. If you don't show up to the meeting, then you have no reason to complain. So I posted it out there, and maybe, hopefully, maybe I'll contact somebody and I can stream that meeting live where you'll be able to see, but you got to be there.
Being there is most important. I'll be there. It's not just, I'm not aware they were talking about just one project. There was a number of projects that they were going to talk about. We've got a number of bridges. They're getting ready to start a bridge repair on Highway 105 at Fanning Creek. And so we know that bridge will be shut down for a period of 3 to 4 months. They've sent out a letter. I apologize, I didn't bring that. I didn't know we were going to talk about that. They'd have to have that date. But there's a certain time parameter where they're going to tear this bridge out and replace the bridge. But we've got a lot of other bridges. You got 2 bridges on 215. One bridge on 215 over Fair Forest, 2 bridges on Highway 49, that's Fair Forest and Tiger. There's also a bridge on Whitmire Highway side at Dutchman Creek. I know they're going to fix the bridge at that goes over the railway in Monarch, where it comes in with Happy Valley Road, Hawkins Road, the 215 connector. I receive a number of calls about that bridge on a regular basis, and yes, the highway department promises us they're going to fix that bridge. I actually went and got on my hands and knees, got dirty, went up underneath that bridge, and literally the only thing that's holding that bridge is the asphalt's on top of it. The metal has rusted out from underneath it when it was put down in the probably 50s.
Wow.
So it is definitely, it had to be shut down for a reason. We go to church that way, and so I have to deviate and go around Mechanic Road and then turn around and come back to Happy Valley. So it's a little bit of a nuisance, but it's going to get fixed, and we just have to be patient. There's so much road construction going on in the state right now that it's hard to find contractors. These contractors get these jobs, and it's all they can do to get through this job before they have to go and work on another one, and that's been some of the problem.
Right. I see, and there are some job openings there, people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And good security there. But see, that's what I'm saying. People's misinformed that, okay, Union County, they're responsible to get this bridge fixed. They're responsible to get this road paved when it's state responsibility. And like you said, the state does know this. They know that these roads need paved. They know that they got a lot of issues there, and
they're a great bunch. Let me say this: it's the people that work at Department of Transportation are some really good people.
Yeah.
The guys on my public works, some really great, dedicated people. They want to do things right. What it amounts to is, especially on the state side. So the roads were let go so long, and they didn't have money until when they finally got the money and began to spend the money. Well, matter of fact, when they planned for it, it used to be you could go and have a mile of interstate. Well, it was 100 miles was like $1.9 million. All right, today 100 miles is 90. It was 90 million. Now it's 1.9 million. So the cost of the point that I'm making is the cost of construction has doubled. The
Right.
cost of laying asphalt has doubled. And so now what there is, they were let go so long. Now they're trying to back up, keep it up, and do as best they can. But now the money they have, they can only do half as much, and then they don't have the contractors because all the contractors are busy.
well, that's because we all know that things go sky high. I know we just had a porch added on our house, and I was kind of almost had a heart attack seeing how much it's going to cost. Versus, I was thinking, being old as I am, I'm thinking, well, that's only going to cost this right here. Oh no, those days are gone, because it does. It costs a lot of money to do these things.
And I was at the Association of Counties meeting in November, 1st of December, and roads were a very big deal. And we actually had the director of DOT there and the assistant director, and they showed us the plan. They showed us what they're working on. Naturally, they're not able to get where everybody wants them to be. So what we do is we just keep reporting, we keep working with them, we keep being patient, but don't think for 1 second that we're not telling them every chance we get in meetings, you got to do more, you got to do more. Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, well, they know that, you know, it's because they don't understand. They drive the same roads.
That's exactly right. They do.
And all, and so, but I think the confusion of a lot of people in the county not knowing who takes care of what, and that's understandable, and that's why that you've been for us make sure everything's transparency. If you know, if they can give you a call if they have a question.
Well, and to add to that, you'll find our I have in front of me my monthly supervisor report that I gave to council in January, but we also put out an annual report. That report was released the last week in August. We compiled an entire physical year's worth. Our year runs from July 1 to June 30. And so we took everything that had happened last year, created an annual report, and you can find that online. And then the halfway through the book stops, and then there's a list of every county road that we have, and actually what the name of it is, what's the distance of it, and it even has the last time it was paved if we have that record on it. So we tried to get that out there for everybody so everybody could see it.
Well, that's great because all they got to do, tell people where they can go see this at.
That's right. That's right.
They can go to the county website and there
Go
she is.
look. If you go up to public documents, and you'll see the annual report, literally the first one that pops up. You click on it and scroll down, and you'll begin to find the road list in alphabetical order.
Wow. So they have no excuse to know which one is this.
Well, either that or call us. We don't mind. Yeah. We don't. We've got a public works group that, again, I'm very proud of them. They do a good job, and they do it with a smile on their face.
Yeah. Now, another question that pops in mind too is I had someone send me a message about fire hydrants, and you being mostly in the fire thing is your expertise. I think it's down towards Santuck, down that way like that some of the fire hydrants is not working, and that's I think because of either age or the size of the pipe going through it, and I did learn something great about the color of the fire hydrants, the different colors, what they mean.
What the flows are, that's correct.
And I had not a clue. I just thought they paid them up pretty.
Well, and Union County is not over any of the water districts.
Okay.
The water districts were created prior to 1976. 1976 is when home rule was created. These water districts that we have in Union County were legislatively created. They elect their own boards. Matter of fact, you'll see them during election time. You may have to vote on somebody who's on this water district or that water district. And it is their job to manage the water systems. Yes, we do help them get grants. I can tell you of 2 of them right now that they submitted to grants. We have to approve them just because we're what they call a pass-through agency. Counties and cities can apply. The county is a pass-through for our water districts. So what we do is we sign off with them, making sure they've got all their documents, and we tell rural infrastructure, yeah, we'll be glad to help them with their paperwork to make sure that they get this grant. You're right. These water districts were originally created for residential water only. And we have to, again, think about how long ago that's been, okay?
Good while.
So now you begin to take a look at some of our growth that we've had since 1950. Whether the water line now is too small for the number of houses it serves, whether it's too old and has maybe some corrosion in it and needs some work. But the cost of running a water system has exceeded. It's tough to run a water system now, and then you got to have monthly requirements going and testing all water to make sure it gets tested. It doesn't have any bad chemicals in it, and don't have any pipe leaks with rust in it, and those type of things, or do boil water advisories. All of these things are now codified where they weren't years ago. So yes, there are some systems that we have that that could probably use some upgrading. We do know in today's fire code that you must have a fire hydrant within 500 foot of a commercial industry or a church or some type of business. That's 500 foot. There's some lines that we have that even if you have a hydrant there, and even if it is 500 foot, it's not going to put out the flow. But that's what we told our water districts. Hey, look, we'll be glad to help you. We can put you with the right people. Rural infrastructure, there's other grants, our COG with CBDGs. We can get them with them. We can help them walk through the process. We don't mind being a pass-through for them so they can get the grant to in turn improve their system. We're not in the water business, but we want to help them be better.
Well, it helps the county because I know that it helps the person that's sitting this right here is talking about his insurance being so high because the district where he's at, and because that affects that, and it just goes down the line. And a lot of people again think, well, you're kind of over the fire departments and things like that belongs to you, but it doesn't.
And actually, half the fire departments are special purpose district, the other half are home rule. Again, it goes back to that magical 1976 date. Those departments created after that, yes, they're under county purview. But what we do is we provide them a board, and the board does a wonderful job of managing them. And we've got some great firefighters. I will tell you this, think the world of most of them know them. Those that were created prior to 1976, they're special purpose district. They were created by legislature. They elect those board members. But again, good board members equals a good fire department.
Right. Another question halfway is that how many how many offices that you manage as being a supervisor?
How many direct supervision?
Right.
There are 22 divisions that fall directly underneath the supervisor. So you stay very busy, but I have 22 wonderful people that work underneath me. And so we're able to work together and create a plan. I'm used to multitasking. I'm used to working long hours. That doesn't bother me, and I am a little bit more hands-on. So they understand that, and they help me out. I told them I'm not a micromanager. I just like to know what's going on.
Right.
But we just have some great people. We have some that you don't they're working. And the work they do is in the background, and how things are running smooth. They're doing their job. But yes, 22. I'm not over the magistrates, and I'm not over the VA affairs office. They are appointed by legislature, but still, I love to work with those. Kevin does a wonderful job in the magistrate side. Daniel's a new hire that started last year with Veterans Affairs, and he's really doing a good job. Miss Cindy's there still helping him, so Cindy, I appreciate you helping him if you're listening. And then you have 5 elected or 6 elected offices. I do not manage them at all. We just help them. We all work equally. We share equally. So, the sheriff and I, we work together. Even though one doesn't work over the other, we work together. The treasurer, I couldn't do my job without Debbie doing hers. Clerk of court, Melanie's just she's a hoot. She's a lot of fun, but she's good at her job. She really is, and she keeps that clerk's office, and she's over a lot. I mean, you got to look at 3 or 4 different types of courts that they have, plus she has to maintain all the deed registers, all those wonderful things. And then you have the coroner, and you have the auditor. And I don't need to leave Brad out because Brad is his gold, and I brought them in. I want to do everything transparent. And I told Brad and our assessor, Jake, y'all's job is to keep me out of jail. I don't want to do anything. We don't need to do anything illegal here. Let's make sure everything we do with tax dollars is done right. And of course, Debbie in there as well. We want to do things right for Union County, and Union County's elected some really good elected officials.
Yeah, and then that's people again get the misperception that you kind of micromanage everything. They might see you ride around in a police car or ride around in this over here, and that you're just right there. But you have a good team that you work together. Now, do you all get together as say you call the managers meetings and get
Yes.
them all together
Once a month.
or do you do individually or just certain ones in certain places?
Once a month after our council meetings, on the Wednesday after council, we all get together. We go over what happened at the agenda with council. I want them to know. I want them to have an understanding. Again, if you don't tell people what's going on, the vacuum of them not knowing, they will create something that's going on. So
Right.
I just feel like that we need to make sure everybody is on the same page. So we talk about the agenda, we talk about the supervisor's report, we break it down, and then we go into what's going on the rest of the month, who's going to do what's the priorities, and if we have any areas where people need to help each other, we try to streamline that and make sure that I've got staff working together. It's important for me to know what Timpkin's doing and what the stadium's doing, especially if they may be able to share in some of the same resources, whether it's grass seed, lime, fertilizer, whatever that may be. And I use that as an example. We have some economy of efficiencies just by working together. Everybody gets to go around a table and talk about what they're doing, what their priorities are for the next month. We've gotten this meeting down to about an hour and 15 minutes. And an efficient meeting to me is an hour or less. But I got 22 people.
Right.
So we hit it. And now, if there's a need anytime during the week or anytime during the day that something comes up and I need to have a meeting, yes, we can meet. That's typically what the supervisor does. They're a facilitator.
Right.
I don't know how much I'm a manager, don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to make light, but I do try to make it funny, and we're facilitators. And our job is to get people to see things that we see and how we can more efficiently go and do things. And that's what's important.
Right. And getting together like that as a management team, they're able to voice their concerns.
Correct.
And the other team members can maybe chime in and say, hey, yeah, we had maybe this issue, or have you tried this? So it's like a brainstorming along with an information meeting.
And that's what we need. We can't make decisions in a vacuum. And, not only do they help make decisions, but we have public involvement that helps us make decisions too at times. There are people that I reach out if I know that's their expertise. Tell me what you think. I think it's important that we ask as much. The room full of a lot of people is smarter than one person.
Right.
And the goal is don't take anything personal. Let's go do it. And we just remember this is our goal. We're going to serve Union County. We're going to work for Union County. And in the process, we're going to be nice.
Well, I know at the council meetings, you invite the public a lot of times between half an hour actually before the meeting starts to voice their opinions or their concerns on certain things. And I know I've been sitting there a lot of times, it's just no one comes in. And to me, if you don't be part of it, you have no reason to complain.
Well, and a lot of times what we'll do, and when they do call, and so somebody calls and said, hey, I want on the agenda, this is my concern. And I'm like, you're more than welcome to come. That's the process. But what if I solve the concern? Let's talk about what it is. Let's see what you've got. And in many cases, we're able to resolve it. We didn't even know that they had a concern. But a lot of times when they tell it to us, we go and resolve it right then. We just didn't know or it had already been done.
Right. And if it needs other council's opinion and to think about it, or something major like that, then they're going to be able to express it.
Absolutely. We want them to come. That's what you've got council members for. That's you talk to council, talk to me. At the end of the day, even if you do come to a council meeting, that's fine. It's a public forum. I do want it to be a business meeting. I want it to be professional. I want it to represent Union the way Union should be represented. We're a very professional county.
Right.
We've got a lot of great people, and we should be seen that way. And but at no point is this meeting meant or held to keep people away. No, we want people to come and be involved.
Right, and I know we get good feedback for us being transparent, just like you not live stream to the event. or the meetings, and this just gives people opportunity. So, well, I can't get off from work in time to get there. I've got supper to get. I got to get this right here. They can always go back and look at it. And then they can voice their opinion. A lot of times people use social media as a venting instead of attacking the issue either with you or one of their council members to find out what's the truth. Because we know how sometimes it's like passing a word around the room. When time gets to the other side, it's totally different. And I always like going to what they call the horse's mouth. You go strictly to it instead of listening to these different things. And just like a couple of things we brought up, I said, well, it's what they heard here, but it was something totally different.
Yeah, well, Facebook's not the news. It is a social platform, and people use it to keep up with their friends. And I'm glad it's there and it has a place. And I'm not opposed to it at all. I just remind people it's not the news. And we suffer sometimes in Union County. We have WBCU. But how many people listen to WBCU? No offense to Chris and to Daniel, they're great people. Anna, I love Anna, went to college with Anna with Union County News. Again, their circulation only goes to so many people. So what did I say earlier? If you don't tell what's going on, the vacuum of something going on fills it. And that's why it's important for me to come here. We're just good people in Union trying to do our best for our neighbors, for the people that live here. I speak for council and myself when I say we just want to see Union thrive, grow, and people to be happy. And we want the best for Union, and that's what we're striving to do.
Exactly. Well, we'll be right back. We're going to do one last commercial here. We're at our 45-minute already, pretty quick. It goes by quick. And we'll be right back. And Keepsake Jewelers.
Your love holds us close and guides us even if we're apart. Most of us, if not all, get a defining moment in life. My moment is when I met you on that beautiful, breezy night. The instant my eyes connected with yours. The shift in my life emerged. You are my everything.
Job.
Here we go. All right, we're back again, and we're talking with Phillip Russell, Supervisor County. I know you're over different departments like that, and we just was about the animal control.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people saying, well, we need a new animal.
We need a new animal shelter.
Shelter.
I'll be the first to agree with that. The history of our old one was that we're still in. It was temporary shelter, and it was temporary built because the city of Union were closing theirs. And what was meant to be temporary over 30 years ago, it's still there. We need a new shelter. I would love to have another piece of property to put it in too, because I don't like the penal look that it gets when you're coming to our detention center to go to a dog shelter or an animal shelter. I'd rather be much, much nicer. I've explained to council an option that we'll look at through the budget session that I think we'll be able to go and build a new shelter and involve the public with this as well. If council will approve the idea, we'll be looking at committing a pot of money and then turn around and ask Union County to assist us to help us build it, to the point of opening up a bank account at Arthur State Bank. Say, if y'all want to donate, this is where your money's going. I want to have renderings made of what the shelter would look like. Again, if council will help us go this way, and I'm not going to twist their arm, but we have a way and a means. We just need to do something. We wouldn't have the problem we have at the shelter. We're overflowing with dogs. We are. And we wouldn't have the shelter. We take a lot of People don't want their dogs anymore, and so we end up with what somebody has given up, and that's a shame. It's sad, and I hate that because we've got dogs that really need to be in homes that people have given up. And so the irresponsible pet owner who just gets rid of their dog and says, come get it, I can't deal with it no more, goes and lets it out, that's where we end up with this dog at the shelter, and that's the reason why we're maxed out.
And people don't realize this also, this is a no-kill animal shelter, right?
It is no kill. Understand, under the Humane Society's rules of no kill, you still can euthanize based on health, sickness. If a judge orders them to, they're aggressive, to be put down. Actually, our animal control officers don't like to, but sometimes if they have to deem one aggressive, especially if it goes and attacks another dog or something like that where it's in the shelter. Or someone else. We cannot legally adopt out an aggressive dog. So if we get a dog there that's just mean and aggressive, we can't adopt it out. So basically it gets committed to a shelter, a small cage, until we can find a rescue group that may want to come in and get it. But it would be very, very nice if we could have a new shelter built, give us a little bit more room. Now, don't get me wrong, you build it, they will come, okay?
Right.
But at least it would be something that Union County could be proud of and may want to come and visit. My goal, I'd love to have a nice little lobby inside, so if we had puppies, somebody could come in and volunteer to come rescue the puppies or play with the dog and have some running room outside for them. I would like for this to be done nice. But again, we do have a lot of needs in Union.
Right.
So, you know, that's one of the needs. We just feel like this ranks up really high. But our animal control group run about 600 calls a month for animals, whether it's a dog running it loose, whether it is I want to give you my dog, whether a dog has damaged something, whether they bit something, whether they're trespassing or whatever that is. Cats are another issue. We have feral cats all over Union, and a feral cat can reproduce 8 weeks after they've had kittens. So, you know, it's just that never-ending story. We have a group, wonderful group to work with. Because they're so busy, we can only do 28 feral cats. They call it a TNR program. We can only do 28 cats per month. And so we have a waiting list of people saying, please come get these cats, I need them fixed. Well, that's what we're trying to do. That's the one way we can solve the problem of feral cats exploding.
Now, do you fix dogs also, or?
We tend to send that to a vet. Okay. When we adopt one out, we take the option of, we'll be glad to do it for them, or they can go take it to their vet and have their vet do it so they can start the record of their dog. So that's an option we provide. And again, if we do the neuter, we get our cost incurred back.
Right. And now, is there, with the dogs, I know there's a rescue in Carlisle. Mm-hmm. That lady there's been, matter of fact, I've interviewed her and went there and did a program there. And
she's helped us tremendously too. Yeah. So we really appreciated her help. She came in, she helped Valerie, our shelter tech. She's been a big help for Union. We appreciate that. There's other rescues that are helping us. It's a small world, and so they get out there and they talk to each other and try to see and share information and ideas. So, but we just can't be everything to everybody.
Right. And that's just something that, again, it goes back, you know, where's the money going to come from too? You got a budget you go to that you can spend so much because you got $18 million coming out in salaries and benefits and things like that. Don't leave you much to work with there.
That's right.
How's the project on the jail coming?
That project's going exceedingly well. It's right now a little bit ahead of schedule, even though we've had a good bit of rain. We're looking at having concrete poured sometime in the next 2 weeks. If we can get the ground dry and it'll stay dry, and we can get the weather right, because you can't pour it in the cold. Right. But the pads there, the footings are there. All the utilities are in place and covered up with dirt, with the conduit sticking up for the electricity, the plumbing, rough plumbing, all of that. It's all ready. So once the concrete goes, you give it about a week to cure, you'll probably be seeing steel I-beams going up. And so once we start going vertical, very quickly we'll go into dry. We've got individual cells that are being we've purchased for this project. So the cells are not made out of masonry or concrete. They're individual steel welded cells. And they slide in, and they're going to be double deckered. So you're going to have, it's 16 cells on the bottom and 16 cells on the top, 32 with a walkway. And of course there's some other offices in there, bathroom, showers, those type of things in that room too. So it's really going to be nice. It's exciting to watch this come together. And then the goal is, once we move into the new addition, then we've got to come back and we need to do some repairs to our 30-year-old jail.
Okay. I think that you had the engineers come to a council meeting to go over and show some of the slides and show some of the things, how this would connect. So
Very, very, very neat process. But yeah, we're pleased with that. The building across the street, the South State building, we should have a certificate of occupancy inspection this week. I'm waiting for the fire alarm and the elevator people to come together to match up. They have to match up the fire emergency system from the elevator to the alarm system and make sure that the smoke head, smoke detector that's in the top of it is also wired into the system. Once that's done, the contractor has advised me that he's ready for a CO. CO means certificate of occupancy, so they're ready for a full inspection. Once that happens, I'm sure there's going to be some punch list items. We physically could take possession of the building once that CO is issued. If and when that happens, we still have a few things that we've got to do. Whether the contractor was supposed to do it, refused to do it, or whether it's just something that was omitted, we've got to do. Key system being one, we've got to have a key system for the building. There are a couple of contract items that just wasn't done, and they're not actually listed in the contract. So we'll take care of those small, minor things. And then we're ready to go ahead and start slowly and methodically moving in the building. My thoughts are, the first thing is we need to move all of our storage over.
right.
Let's get things over, not people, because when we get into move people, what we've got to do is we've got to move them, and then we've got to do computer checks, make sure everything works the way it's supposed to. And once we start occupying that building, we've got staff in different locations, so we need to minimize this. My goal would be to try to move everybody within a 2-week period of time, very methodical. And the last group that will go will be the administrative group. That's what the supervisor area, the supervisor works with daily. That we will be the last group to move over. But we have nice signage that we've ordered, so when you walk into the lobby, you're going to see where's the auditor, where's the treasurer, where's the delinquent tax, where's the assessor, where's the restrooms. These are nice signs. It's going to be easy to find around. And we're going to have an open house because I want everybody to come and see it. I'm proud of it.
Right.
And I think everybody ought to come and see where this money went. The building was given to us. I think we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.35 million in investment in this project. Again, it was something that I inherited, but it's something that I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a benefit.
Right. Well, the courthouse has been there a long time, and the office has been there a long time, and you need something to be upgraded.
We need some growth. We've just run out of room. We're running out of storage.
Right.
The Union County, believe it or not, there are paperwork that we have to maintain and keep for posterity. So there's not closets big enough to hold all of this stuff.
Yeah, and back then they didn't have computers to put it on, did they?
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
And also, probably, somebody's going to probably ask, what are they going to do with the rooms that will be occupied, or that will be left from over there when you get moved over there?
So family court, not family court, let me back up. Child support. Child support will move from where it's at it's at the what used to be called the annex building. It's the Barbara Rippey building now.
Right.
The university is using it. The back half they've been using as family court, because they've been able to use the drive-through window. Not family court, excuse me, child support.
Right.
But so child support will move back into the courthouse. It will put all court operations together. All the judges will be together, probate, clerk of court, and the solicitor will actually take over the area of the office where I'm at. So they have a spot upstairs. They'll have that spot downstairs now. So that's going to be that'll help for a lot of people who are coming in. Instead of having to go all the way through the courthouse, if they just need to see the solicitor to check on their case or check in for court or whatever may be, they just come in the front door and there you go.
Right, they don't have to go upstairs, good corner,
That's
and all
right.
this right here. And plus, with the child support, everything's going to kind of be right there together, even across the street. It makes it more convenient instead of spotted all over town.
Yeah, and so and this, let me go back and say it again. The treasurer, the auditor, delinquent tax, the assessor, and administrative staff, that's what's leaving the courthouse over the next 2 to 3 months. That's what will be leaving and moving across the street. And when that happens, we'll try to do as much of a advertisement blurb, paper, radio, newspaper. It's our community, our life show, whatever we can do and have as much announcement so everybody can see we've moved and this will be where we'll serve you at. Hey, another great thing is we actually have a drive-through window now, so you can pay your taxes and don't even have to get out of the car.
Well, wife's going to love that. I went and had to pay hers the other day like that. She says, I don't like going through that little thing. It beeps because it's still hip, so it beeps every time, and they got to use that one on me. So, well, the time's up here. It's been a fast hour, and I appreciate you coming on and enlightening us on a lot of different things. That council meeting, it's like you said, it's a business. You got to go on with the agenda and things like this. It just gives a time one-on-one, and the people here and some of the questions that they had and thought about. Well, it can be answered, or they can give you a call.
And tell you, send me an email, call me, send me a text message. We'll do whatever we can to make sure that you have the information that you need.
Well, thank you very much. All right, I'm Jerry McKee, and I'm glad that you got to join with us and share it with your friends. Let them know that, Union is growing, and you're seeing it live